All right, here we go. My name is Christy Mattoon, and these are the 3 keys to using your mind to take control of your life. This is a free webinar that Mind Rewire is putting out. I'm the founder of Mind Rewire, and I'm super excited to be here with you. I'll admit I have a bit of a cold right now, so if I have a little coughing fit, I apologize. I've got some tea and honey and lemon next to me here, so hopefully I can keep that under control. I want to say go ahead and actually text yes in the side box there if you can hear me. If you can't see. If you can't see, if you're not getting a visual, I'm not sure what you're going to call that, but if you can't see the picture frame, go ahead and log out and log back in. Sometimes that fixes the issue. And then also I want to tell you, go ahead and turn off your Facebook, turn off your Skype accounts, whatever you've got turned on. Take this hour, be really stingy with it. Take this hour for you. Excuse me, in order to understand this concept. And we're going to do a few little exercises, so that's going to be really fun. So I want you to just really take this hour and be stingy with it. I want to give you a different way to think about yourself and your physiology and how you can actually use it to combat the issues of your life and to bring things in towards you that you've been working on. So let's go ahead and get started here. This is about the 3 keys that you need to intentionally use, and that's a big part of this, is intentionality behind it, to learn to use your mind and physiology to take control of your life without taking a pill or meditating for hours on end or going to a doctor or fighting with yourself day after day, or any of the other number of things that we do to ourselves when our lives seem to be spinning out of control or feel like we have no control. So my goal with this is to give you these 3 keys and get you through to the end so that you can see how this will work inside your life, how you actually have the physiology on board to take control of your own arena, and how that will work and benefit you to getting the things that you want out of life. So if you stay until the end, we're going to do a couple of little exercises like I said, and I'm going to show you some different ways that you can actually start to play with this now. So what makes this different is it's not a meditation. Although I do meditations, I participate in that, this will actually benefit meditation. This isn't a practice probably like anything you've ever seen, because we're actually using the physical attributes of the body, the chemical structure, some of the different makeups, things that we can feel, and I teach you how to feel those things so that you can actually use them inside of your life. So like I said before, my name is Christy Mattoon. I work with people from all over the world. I've got clients in the UK, in South Africa. I've got a few people I work with down in Costa Rica. I've spent a lot of time and money to figure this out. And I want you to be able to get this quickly so you can get on with your life and you can do what you want to. This world is changing so fast right now, and we can see it all around us. The differences are huge. The gap in the chasm, I don't even know what to call it. The spread between differences in people is so huge right now. The more each person, no matter what side of the fence you land on, can take authority and control inside their own life, the better off this is going to be. And I believe that you have everything on board to change your subconscious mind, to change out your neuroplasticity, and to change your life for the better for all of humanity. So I am certified. I've got a certificate with the Comprehensive Energy Psychology people with ASEP. I've done all of PSYCH-K stuff. I'm a NASM CPT, so that's a personal trainer. I've got their nutrition, their corrective exercise. I have done tons of TRX stuff. I just love the physical body. I love the physical body, and the energy body is included in that statement. I don't think any of it's separable. It's your mind, your body, your spirit. And we try and piece it apart and take a look at it just like a doctor would a physical body. You've got a doctor for your heart, a doctor for your lungs, a doctor for your knee. So we have all these different people working in all these different arenas for our benefit, when in actuality, it's just one big piece. From the energetic, from all the way outside your system, to the center of your body, to the center of your core and your spirit. So that's how I kind of look at all this stuff. I do want you to know I've done a lot of things right, and I'm pretty proud of those things. I'm pretty proud of the areas, the lives I've touched, the things I've done in my own life to straighten myself out, and we'll talk about that in a little bit, and I'll show you some pictures. But I've done a lot of things wrong, and I'm okay with admitting that too. And so some of those things we'll talk about, some of those things I'm still working on. And so that's one of the things that this goes into is what happens when you have an ongoing circumstance. What do you do to mitigate those things? So after all of the time spent, all of the classes that I've taken, so I've done a ton of classes to understand how the body works, all the certificates, I've learned that everyone has good advice. I've taken some of it, I've had to set some of it aside, and that's one of the things you need to know too, is it's okay to look at somebody else's advice and say, that's not for me. What I know now is that you can easily change and grow. You just need to know how to do it. The process is just a process, no matter which one you use. Understanding the physiology of your body to engage your mind will put any process into fast forward, into hyperspeed. So it's basically how you learn. The perception that you walk away from after you figure this out is what direction you will take in your life. Basically, it's the direction that you'll go in. Once you figure out how all this works, you can go any direction you want to. And if you walk around mumbling how something's awful or unfair, or you're bashing yourself for an outcome, or you're bashing yourself because your life just wasn't what you thought it was going to be, and you can't seem to stop doing that, it all boils back down to basically as a child, you didn't know the difference. Everything is a learning experience. Even now, I look at everything as a learning experience. What if you had learned or heard or were led to believe that you're not good enough, you're not smart enough, you're not strong enough, or you were given a belief that you can never have something, maybe money, love, peace, joy, health? What is it you were led to believe? Maybe it was all of those. What is your belief? Do you know? Can you name it? Do you know what it is? Or is there more than one thing? Could you imagine what it would be like to be able to stand in the mirror and tell yourself you are good enough? You're smart enough? You're strong enough? Can you imagine how that would feel? Isn't that an awesome idea? So after doing this for 8 years, after practicing what I'm about to talk about for 8 years, here is what I know. Your genes are not in control. So this is the idea of epigenetics. If you don't take authority, something else will. If you don't take authority of your mind, your space, your body, something else will. And by something, I mean it could be disease. It could be the food that you're eating takes over. How many of you have fights with food? It could be the people around you, bossing you around and telling you what to do and you never get a say. It could be any number of things. What is your thing? Can you point that out? Your subconscious mind, if it has a stronghold in any area of your life, you get to pay consequences for that. And it's not a fault thing. There is no fault here. It's your subconscious mind and what it's locked into. It's the neuroplasticity of your brain. You get to pay the consequences if any of that's negative. Here's what I know. It's easy to clear the subconscious chatter. It's easy to clear those subconscious things, those subconscious blocks. So I've discovered this the hard way. And you get to cheat, fortunately. I'm going to give you the easy way. I discovered it the hard way with a lot of work, a lot of doing. My life had to fall apart. So there I am at about, I don't even know how much I weighed in that picture. I think it was one of my heaviest weights. I topped out at 300 pounds at one point. I quit getting on the scale. Ended up in a doctor's office on a solid protein, liquid protein diet that made me super, super sick. And then ended up in a gym working out with a trainer, and then kind of came to it from a physical aspect, trying to get my my body back in shape so it would actually work. I blew out all kinds of systems in my body. I have autoimmune issues. I killed a bone in my foot. I did a good number on myself, but all of these things, if not healed already, are still in a healing process. And at this point, I'm actually off all of my medication. I think this cold I have right now, this kind of snuck up on me. Usually I'm better at staying on top of stuff than this. And it's part of what I teach people is how to kill germs and bacteria inside your body the second you feel them coming on. But this one definitely got away from me. I totally believe that everything we go through in this life we have control over if you only knew how to control it. So let's talk about the hard way for a minute, learning how to meditate. How many meditators do we have in here? How many of you like doing it? Yeah, some of you do. Some of you love meditation. I could never do it. I had a hard time meditating. I had a hard time sitting there. My mind would never be quiet. It was always crazy. And I did many different kinds of meditation. I did the sound ones where you're doing the ohms. I did ones where I was like focusing on just music that was playing in the background. I did ones trying to focus on my breath. I did ones focusing on my heartbeat. I did some focusing on energy, trying to move energy up and down your body. Some of them actually felt pretty good. Most of them I could not ever set, well, none of them. I've never sat in meditation for hours on end like some people seem to be able to. So for me, that was a hard way. That was tough. Sitting in a therapist office for years and yielding no real results, that was tough. How many different doctors addressing many illnesses, that was tough. All the illnesses and all the crap I did to myself. Learning all the protocols that I paid big money to find out how to do, and find out how to do what the doctors kept telling me that they could do for me, but nobody ever did. Nobody could ever do it for me. So I put an end to my issues that would put an end to my issues and let me get on with my life. It just never really seemed to happen. But if you want the easy way that doesn't require you to wait months or even years of your life or spend the amount of money that I have, let me tell you, in the past 8 months, and I've been doing this quite a bit longer than that at this point, I've had many clients in and out, I've totally rewired my thinking. So even at the point that you think you're like, wow, this is great, I've done a ton of work and I'm feeling awesome, there's always another level. It has been so cool finding this out. I haven't been to a doctor or taken a pill or worried or let any of my thoughts take over a day since. And I have day-to-day stuff going on in my life that's like ongoing issues. But the worrying and all the thoughts that go on, I know how to quickly and easily calm those things down so that I don't have a problem during the day with any of it. So I do want to say, and this is my little disclaimer, that results are not typical. I'll walk you through a specific protocol and ideas that have been more empowering and useful than anything I've ever seen before, but my results are not typical. I put into practice a daily regime that allows great benefit. However, most people will not allow themselves to do this. And I don't get it. I don't understand why. It's a little bit of work and a little bit of time. But most people won't allow themselves to go here. It's what has worked for me and my clients, but it's not a magic pill. And I think that's part of the problem is most people are still searching for the magic pill. And it's definitely not a wand full of fairy dust. So let's get on to these 3 secrets. The first secret is a few balances a day, and a balance is what we call the thing that I do inside of the protocol, inside of the strategy that I use. You put yourself in a balance to an issue to help take care of that issue. So a few balances a day that only take a few minutes, they can take up to 5 minutes, are more powerful than any meditation or mantra. Secret number 2 is you'll get more benefit faster than years of sitting in a therapist's office. And actually, so I want you to know I am not a therapist, but this does work and will help you with your therapist in their office. The work that you do with this will actually benefit that work. The work you do with this will actually benefit your meditation practice. So it's kind of cool that way. Secret number 3 is you get to take authority of your life and you get to enjoy life. And I think that's the best part. You finally get to take over what's rightfully yours. So let's talk about secret number 1 real quick. A few balances a day that only take a few minutes are more powerful than any meditation or mantra. So if you're a meditator, I'm not saying that meditation is bad. I still meditate. I don't do it for hours on end, but I enjoy meditation. I still use mantras. But what I do with them is I use them as seeds and I seed them into my subconscious mind. So I'm not just walking around saying a mantra for days, weeks, even months on end. I'm actually taking that mantra, using this protocol, using this system to seed it into my subconscious mind so it becomes part of my my internal chatter. So are you meditators? Do you do it effectively? Let's talk about meditation a little bit more. Do you do it effectively? How much time have you put into trying to meditate? How many of you actually get anything out of it? Can you imagine actually getting into a deep meditation and getting somewhere with it if you're a meditator that fights with it? That's what this will help you do. So just like my client Dawn, who's currently using these techniques to release issues from chemo and the fear of her cancer coming back, we've also used these techniques. Dawn is a really interesting one. She has a great belief system. And back in the day, she was a bodybuilder, so she had an amazing physique. So I met Dawn in a gym, and she had a picture of herself. So as we were working out and trying to work through, just getting her, we were just trying to get her to move again. She pulled this picture up and said, yeah, I just want to get back to this, like even close to it. I just want something close to it. And I said, cool, let's name her, pull her up. Can you find her? Can you feel her inside your system? So we used some of the techniques that I use, pulled up her fit person, and I think we were calling her Misfit. She pulled up her Misfit. She could feel her in her system, and we started working out to Misfit. Guess what happened? She went from not being able to do a push-up. She could do 4. I think we were working out for a number of weeks, and we got her to 4 push-ups. We pulled up Misfit. And she came back into the gym one morning after we had done this, and she looked at me and she goes, what on earth did you do to me? And I was like, oh no, what happened? And she said she was laying on her bed, watching her husband do push-ups like they normally do at night, I guess. And she said she kept thinking, get up and do push-ups, get up and do push-ups. So she finally rolled out of bed, laid on the floor next to him, got into a push-up position, and started doing push-ups. And before she knew it, she had done 10 push-ups. She could only do 4, and they were 4 breathless push-ups, and she said she hadn't lost her breath, she didn't break a sweat, they banged them out like it was nothing. And then she sat there holding a plank, so in a high push-up position, and then she did 15 more. Not out of breath, not sweaty, nothing. She just did them like it was no big deal. How powerful is your mind? Can you imagine if you could do this for yourself? Isn't that awesome? I think it's pretty great. I really do. I think it blew my mind, actually, to see a result like that right in front of your face. And she just gets stronger day by day. So meditation is cool, but subconscious changes faster. These balances are quicker and allow you actually to do more. They allow you to go deeper into your meditation if it's something you choose to follow, but they also allow you to gain strength in areas that meditation may or may not, because you don't intentionally go there. So how is this faster? How is this protocol faster? How is this strategy faster? And why? Well, it's faster. A single subconscious balance can only take up to 5 minutes. If we hit the target, if we go after something specific, it can take less than that and give you way bigger results than meditating for years. We can specifically target an issue or a subject. And I'm not sure, I've never actually done a meditation or a meditation protocol that takes you to a specific issue. And maybe there are some out there, I have no idea, but I've never actually come across one. So why is it faster? Well, most meditation practices are aimed at quietening the mind, and they actually work on the level of consciousness. Eventually, as you do this, so repetition is a key to meditation. Repetition is the key to getting the conscious mind to unlock some of the stuff in the subconscious. The habituation of something, even with a mantra, the more you do it, the more it starts to stick. Just like a practice in exercise or like even martial arts, the more you practice it, the quicker and the better you get at it, right? With the quietening of the mind, once quiet, people may notice differences, right? Because you've habituated that thing. You've done it over and over and over, and your body's starting to create actually neuroplasticity to it. Your brain is starting to create neuroplasticity to it. But it takes a while to get to that point. So that's why it's faster. This is quick. It takes about 5 minutes for a balance. Here's secret number 2 is more benefit. You'll get more benefit than years of sitting in a therapist's office. Wow, can you imagine that? How many of you are in a therapist's office? Yeah, just silently raise your hand. I was for 8 years. I'll admit it. Going to a therapist seems to have its own stigma attached to it. And you can feel it in the air just right now when I said that, can't you? Right? It's scary to admit you have to go see a therapist. Most people don't like to admit it. It's pricey, especially if you go out of the scope of your medical insurance, which I did because the few that I went to in my medical insurance were pretty rough. So I paid the price to go outside of that realm and to find the best in town. And honestly, you may or may not get resolution during the time you spend with them. And that's with anything. I get that. But when you're paying that kind of money and you're going there specifically to have a resolution for something and you don't ever get it, especially if it's just talk therapy, right? And there's a time and place for everything, and I understand that too. I'm not bashing therapists. But if you are in a therapist's office, this will benefit your work there, okay? So how many of you see or saw a therapist? Was progression slow? Maybe you are doing better. I got a couple pearls of wisdom. We'll talk about those. But can you imagine doing something that rapidly changes your paradigm, basically, so that you can get on to life instead of sitting weekly in a meeting with a person just discussing your past? What if you could rewire your mind in a few minutes? Subject by subject, a few minutes. Rewiring your mind by using tools of subconscious change. Rewiring your mind by getting into the energy of the body, getting into that effect that will actually start to sift out all the stuff that you don't want. This will benefit your time in the doctor's office or therapist's office, just like it'll benefit your time in meditation. It allows you to move quickly and more efficiently through the issues and get you onto your goals. Just like my client Awilde, she makes me laugh so hard. This woman is so beautiful. Awilde says that 1 hour with me is like 10 hours in her therapist's office. And she still sees both. She gets clear and she feels immediate differences with me, and then she goes back and she feels out the therapist about it and gets other ideas to come back to me with to help her change in her subconscious mind. Her mind has changed, her body's changed, she's lost weight, and even though her life keeps happening around her, thanks to Mind Rewire, she has tools and a strategy that keep working in her favor. Okay, that's my client Awilde. So here's my story. This was my therapy story, 8 years. There's 48 weeks in a year. I just now broke this down because I've never done this before. I've done this webinar quite a few times at this point, and I've never done this before. 48 weeks in an office times 8 years is 384 sessions. 1 hour a week for 60 minutes at a shot. 4 weeks per month. So that's 4 hours, and that doesn't even include driving time, and he wasn't close, and there was a lot of traffic. So that's 240 minutes. I don't know why I was breaking it down into minutes. It was kind of blowing my mind. I was paying him roughly $125 or $120 per session. I think that went up at some point. And I will admit there was probably the last 2 years there. Maybe I was going just twice a month. And there was some times that I missed totally. But you'll get the idea here. So out of pocket, I was paying this guy. That's $46,000. Guess what I got out of it? 2 pearls of wisdom. 2 that I could walk away with and say, yep, those really helped. I never really knew what these pearls meant until recently, but they did give me hope. So I'm going to share my 2 pearls with you. The first one was keep your head on straight. How'd you like that? Isn't that awesome? That's from my therapist. Keep your head on straight. The heck does that mean? Especially when your head's not on straight. But it sounded good coming out of his mouth, and for some reason it gave me hope. Take the next step. That was his second one. Could you imagine what life would be like if you could take the next step? Can you imagine? So let's move on to secret number 3. You can take authority in your life. Wow, what does that mean? Have you ever had authority of your life? Do you want more authority in your life? Because it's your life. And you should have authority, just like my client Cheryl. She called me, so I do a lot of sessions on Skype, one-on-one sessions on Skype. And she actually called me because of the effects on her health from her lifelong habit of smoking. Her concerns of her health are real at 72 years old. So at 72 years old, she finally decided she wanted to take control. With mind rewire balances and changing her perception about her life events, she's been able to do all kinds of different things. She's moved out of the area she was in to a place that feels more comfortable for her. And at our last meeting, she was still smoking some, but the pressure and fear to stop or not was released. How bizarre is that? That was not the effect we were looking for, right? The effect that we were looking for was that she stopped, but she's like, there's no pressure anymore. I'm not scared anymore. And she feels like she's moving forward, and she's actually grasping hold of some lifelong dreams of hers. Here's my point about Cheryl is don't wait until you're 72 years old to get control of this. Don't wait until you're 72 years old. Taking authority means you take control, not your subconscious mind, not the chatter from the perspective of a 5-year-old. I seriously think we've been taught to make this harder than it really is. And we actually haven't been taught at all. We were never taught how our physiology works on the spectrum of being able to take authority and feel what you feel inside your body to move you forward or let yourself slide back. We know what fight and flight is. Do you know that you can feel it inside your system? We can go looking for it. Did you know wherever that fight and flight sits, it takes one balance to feel it differently and seed something different into your mind? And seriously, it's not as hard as we think it is. That's the part that just blows my mind over and over. Just like my client from Massachusetts, this is Susan, and what she believed about herself. What she wanted in her life. She believed she couldn't do anything. She had to hold everybody else up around her. That was kind of her job. That's what she was taught. That she was so strong she could literally hold everybody else in place around her. And what she wanted in her life, she never got to because everybody else's stuff was always more important. So for Cheryl, it was about releasing and letting go. Releasing that need to hold everybody up. Letting go of the ropes and chains that bound her to that, and then deciding what she really wanted in her own life. She started feeling better. She got a new job, a new attitude, and I think she even surprised herself how quickly she was able to move on. And that nobody, when she did this, nobody around her fell down. They were able to hold themselves up, and if they weren't, what she found out was that was better for them anyway. So she was released, they were released, and everybody started to figure out their own stuff. How much freedom do you need? That's an interesting question. What do you want? Do you want to be free from your mental clutter? To be free from the fights that you never win inside your head? Wouldn't that be awesome to be free from those? Do you have those? To be free from the voices that call you names? Can you imagine what it would be like instead of hearing a negative voice, you always heard a positive one? What would it be like to be free from the voice that tells you you can't, you won't, you're not good enough, you won't heal, you need to wait, your time will never come? Just imagine if you woke up in the morning and you knew you could. You knew you were good enough, and that wasn't even an issue anymore, good or not good. The healing process is a healing process, and you're okay to let the system heal. You understand how not to put poison in and how not to take in the needless effects of this lifetime that cause illness. You don't have to wait. Can you imagine understanding that your time has come? Whenever you're ready to step into it, your time is here. Isn't that awesome? So imagine driving to work and enjoying the drive. Imagine moving on to a project and completing it. Doesn't that sound good? How would it feel if you actually completed all the projects you started? Just imagine waking up and feeling good. Having a positive attitude, feeling good inside your body, feeling good next to the person that's next to you. When was the last time you were able to go to sleep and not replay the day? Can you imagine what it would be like if you woke up in the morning rested? That'd be awesome, wouldn't it? Can you imagine sitting down and enjoying yourself without the mental self-abuse, the guilt, the shame, the anger, whatever your thing is? You put your words in there. What is your thing? So let me ask you a question. In the past hour, wouldn't you agree so far it's been time well spent? You've got some decent information. You've got an understanding of how strongly different the system can be if we take authority and control over the subconscious mind. But I want you to know old habits do die hard. This is a hard thing for most people because if you don't step out and take authority of it now, you're going to be 72 years old. And you're going to stop and go, what on earth happened? You'll be thrilled if you do this, if you step into it, if you move forward. It'll blow your mind. I'm getting a lot of reports back from people whose mind have been blown. So I took what I do and I put it into an 8-week course, and that's what we're going to talk about. It's called Mind Rewire for Subconscious Change. Let me tell you a little bit about what you get, and then we're going to do an exercise. So I teach you how to muscle test. That's a $500 value. If I taught it to you separately, that's what I'd charge for it. It's a mechanism to gain access to a lot of things, but one of them is the subconscious. I teach you about the brain. We talk a lot about that, epigenetics, the neuroscience, why this works the way it does, how the physiology of it works. And then I help you take a quantum leap into whatever it is that you're wanting. And then you start putting it into practice, and that's when you can get there. We work on writing strong, clear statements. So this is kind of like mantras, but we're actually seeding them into the subconscious mind. And then the balance procedure itself. That balance procedure is a big chalupa. Right? That's the thing that's going to make the difference, is knowing how to do this balance procedure. So total value, the way I have this structured here, if I was doing this all separately for you, is $4,650. So let me tell you a little bit about who this has worked for. This has worked for anyone who has the subconscious and is willing and open to change. Anyone who is curious enough to try something that may be a little bit out of the box. People who are tired of looking to the outside for someone else to solve their issues. This gives you the strength and a strategy to do a lot of this on your own. And I'm here throughout the whole thing, through this whole 8-week course, to help guide you and give you support. So let's do a little exercise real quick. Let's take a look at what a whole brain state is. So I want you to just feel your body right now. And just notice what you're noticing. If you need to close your eyes, take a few deep breaths. Just notice what you're noticing. Are you in disbelief about the things I'm saying? Are you excited? Does your body ache? Does it feel super good? Whatever it is you're feeling, just feel it. Just notice. From the top of your head all the way to the bottom of your toes. Take a few deep breaths and just feel that for a second. And now I want you to cross your legs at your ankles. And now cross your arms at your wrists. So you're crossing midline of the body. There's a reason this works the way it works. And normally I have people sit here for a number of minutes, but I don't really want to do that right at this second. But as you cross your ankles and your wrists, I just want you to notice and feel. And especially as you sit here, and just kind of follow the feelings that you had before and see if they change. Know that it can take up to 5 minutes to feel a difference, to actually get a neurological shift. But when you do this, what an interesting difference, especially if there's something in front of you that's going on. So here's the funny part about this. This is called a whole brain posture. It's from the people at Brain Gym. When you cross midline of your body, and there's certain ways we do it with inside the protocol and the strategy that I teach that actually helps you find the most powerful position for you. But when you do this, it allows your brain to engage in a different way. So your body is always seeking stability, whether it's from a physiological muscle standpoint or whether it's from a brain and mind standpoint, even a heart standpoint. You're always seeking stability. And if you're in a place that doesn't feel comfortable, doesn't feel safe, what do? We go into fight and flight, you go into all these other reactions, cortisol is released, right? We get those negative hormone releases, and then you feel crappy. What were we taught in high school in our psychology classes? Does anybody remember? We were taught not to cross your arms. Why were we taught that? They told us if we crossed our arms, it meant we were being standoffish and we looked like it was kind of rude, I guess, and we didn't look like we were friendly. So don't stand there with your arms crossed. So what do? We stand there holding our arms down at our side and like locking ourselves out of this natural physiology of allowing our brains into a whole brain state. Have you ever wondered why people cross their arms and do that? And have you ever noticed, and maybe you can start to pay attention to this a little bit and you will notice it, that when people typically do that, it's when something is going on and they're trying to make sense of it or they're trying to figure it out. And so they cross their arms over their body and they just stand there with this puzzled look on their face or this what appears to be a mean look, and it might not be mean. They're literally, their brain is seeking. And then we teach people not to do that. Isn't that crazy? Cross your arms in the middle of a thing. Maybe even if you feel uncomfortable because we were taught for so long that you're not supposed to cross your arms, cross them behind your back so you don't feel quite so uncomfortable. It will leave your front fully exposed and open, but play with it. See what it feels like. Because you'll come to a quicker understanding of what's going on around you in that position than you will if you keep your arms dropped at your side. Interesting, isn't it? Isn't that crazy? It's pretty cool, isn't it? So here, let me tell you about this. I had two choices. My first option on this protocol was to go super cheap and try to just sell as much as I could. But that wouldn't incentivize, I can't say that word, me to really stack the value. And I really want to stack the value. I want you to have all the information that I have. I want you to know what I know so that you can move forward and do what you need to do. This world needs you. It needs your participation. So my second option required a little higher investment, but in exchange, I can devote more resources to guarantee your success. So one of the things that I'm doing is 2 times a week, when you're in Mind Rewire, we're going to get on the phone. 2 times a week, there's going to be 2 opportunities to get on the phone in a group call where you can ask questions. We can hear each other's questions. We can play off of each other's ideas. I'll do balances with people on those calls. You can jump in on those balances. It's going to be so much fun to see how this all works out. Let me tell you really quickly, too, why you need a coach. Because some of us think, well, if I can just do that, I don't need a coach. Well, imagine there's something that you want in your life, something that you'd like to create or achieve or bring into your life. What a coach does is give you support and ideas and information, gives you actions to take and even help you troubleshoot to get you to the result that you want, right? That's why most people need a coach, but this is different. I teach you how to clear the subconscious mind. Yep, I spelled clear wrong, didn't I? I teach you how to clear the subconscious mind. I teach you how to take authority because your mind is clear. You automatically are able to. I don't even have to teach you that. It just happens. And give you the tools, give you the strategy to help you be able to keep doing it. That's the difference. I'm not just coaching you on little differences you can make, little steps you can take. I'm giving you the whole thing. Here's how you do this. So let's go over it again. Here's what you get. I'm going to teach you how to muscle test, how to feel your body. And this is actually taking authority inside your body, where you can actually feel the upregulation of good chemicals and the downregulation when the bad ones come in, when you have thoughts that are opposite of that. We're going to talk about the brain so you understand the neuroscience, the epigenetics, and a quantum leap. I will qualify myself. I'm not a doctor. I'm not a scientist. I learned all of this stuff through the courses I've taken. I learned all of these things by the books and all the stuff that I've done in the last 8 years. I want to work with you on writing these clear, strong statements, and you can call them mantras, call them whatever you want. What we're doing with them is seeding them into your subconscious mind. All right, we're going to go through how the neuroplasticity, how that builds up and how it breaks down and what this will do for you. But it's a powerful, powerful difference. And then the actual balance procedure itself, that's the one I have paid more money to figure out how to get this to the easiest place possible and to bring it to you in a simple, simple manner. So total value on this is $46.50. But I want to throw in a bonus because this part is super important. This is a functional foundation part of the program, and it's probably more valuable than $99, but I wasn't sure what to put on that. This is about oxygen and water and a few other things that are listed under this section. It's in the first part of the course itself. If you don't get this part right, everything else is harder. Substantially harder. If you get this part right, these functional foundational pieces, everything gets easier. And this will follow you through the rest of your life. If you can do this every day for the rest of your life by itself will be so much better. Just for knowing, understanding, and then participating in these things, in these areas. All right, so it's a good understanding about why oxygen is so vital, and that seems super silly, but we need to talk about it, and breath, water, and then there's a few other things within the course also. The second thing I want to give you is a waterfall visualization. It's kind of a meditation, I guess, is what some people have called it. But this actually, if you are super stuck, will help clear the system and calm it down. From a brain standpoint, we're going to calm everything down. It'll help ground you, kind of bring you back into your own body so that when we do start to work, you're going to get more benefit faster. Okay, and even for people who are like, oh yeah, that's not really me, it doesn't matter. Do this anyway. You'll love it. It'll bring you down a few notches. It'll give you a different perspective, and we'll be able to move forward quickly, okay? So I'm going to throw that in there. This is my little friend Emily. I love Emily to pieces. That's actually a picture of her. She takes these kind of pictures all the time, and I'm not really sure how she does it, but there she is floating in the air. So Emily is just a sweetheart, and she came to me from a very interesting route. Had a horrible, hard life from the time she was just days old. She's a Bulgarian gypsy, is what she calls herself. Born in Bulgaria, left on the door of an orphanage, lived in that orphanage for 6 years, has vivid memories of what that was and what that entailed. Was adopted, brought to America by a family, and that didn't go so well. We won't talk about that here. Ended up on our doorstep somehow, and as much as I could, just teaching her these little things, a lot of the things that I have done and come to have been partly because of Emily and just searching and seeking, because the therapist actually told us at one point, and told me, because I was trying so hard to work with her and figure out ways to help her. We actually had put her in therapy and was helping her pay for it. And this guy actually told me, he goes, this isn't going to end well. You know that, right? Guard your heart. This is what this therapist told me. I was so blown away. I was like, what the heck? What the heck? Guess what? Emily's doing great. Emily works every day using just these protocols that we go through in this course. Emily is part of the reason I was able to develop this course. And while she still struggles and still has her issues, and it's a daily grind, but I think it's a daily grind for all of us. When you put the practice into place, When you put the strategy into place, that's the difference, okay? So again, here's what you're going to get. Let's stack those bonuses in there. It's muscle testing, information on the brain, writing the strong, clear statements, the actual balance procedure. And there's a ton of stuff laced into there that are the exercises and different things that you have to do. So we actually engage in the first part of the course in an area to actually figure out what it is that you want. You get time to sit down and just kind of roll through that. And I have papers and different ideas in there for you to use. Then you get the bonus waterfall, clearing and visualization, the bonus on water and oxygen. That's the functional foundation area. And let me just say, if all this did is stop a racing mind, wouldn't that be worth it? If all this did is help you feel good about yourself, would that be worth it? And I tell you, I spent years telling myself how much I hate myself. I spent years going in circle about because my child, I don't even remember my childhood, and I go into that on another video, but I don't even remember it. But out of that came this self-hate that was just absolutely unbelievable. Wouldn't it be worth it if you could just feel good about yourself? Wouldn't it be worth it if all this did? Well, if all this did, wouldn't it be good? Sorry, I lost track of myself there. To motivate you to be able to get on your path. Because you all have a path. You've all got something that you're wanting to do. If all this did was help you get there, would that be worth it? So what is freedom worth? What is freedom worth? Wouldn't it be worth? Well, what is it worth? Is it worth 5K, 10K, 25K? Is it worth more? How much would you pay to get change? To release blocks? To get rid of maybe disease patterns that are held in your mind? To get rid of the patterns that lock you into the things that make you think you're not good enough, you can't do, you'll never get there. To become self-sufficient at doing this for yourself. To understand the strategy so well and to implement it into a practice. That's what the 8 weeks is for, is to begin that process of implementing it into a practice. You know, they say it takes 30 days to create a practice. That's why we're going for 2 months, because I really want to seed that idea of practice in. Can you see why others are paying me not only for information, but for my time? And part of that is because what I do is so effective. Some people sit in front of me and we do a couple of releases, a couple of balances, and I never hear from them again. I never get a, hey, that was horrible. What the heck is wrong? It didn't work. And I never hear, oh, that was awesome. That was amazing. They just disappear. Other people come back time and almost out of curiosity is what it feels like. And that's why I just want to teach you how to do this so you can do it for yourself. There will be no more curiosity. Well, there'll be lots of curiosity, but there won't be any more curiosity because you'll know how. So what you're going to get one more time is Muscle Testing 101, the brain information, writing the strong, clear statements, the balance procedure, the functional foundation area with water and oxygen, the waterfall clearing and visualization. So that's a total value of $4,800 some odd dollars. If you were to use a program like Mind Rewire, then you would have all the information you need to take your life back. I have no question in my mind about that. I use this stuff every day. I use these protocols, these strategies, these things every day to get myself to where I'm at. So you can see why it's a good deal. If it does everything I say it does, it's a good deal at $5,000. But for the general public right now, I'm offering this for $1,500. But because you're special and you sat with me listening to my gravelly voice on this webinar, and you've hung in here till the end, I'm so super excited. And you're ready to do this different, or you wouldn't still be sitting here. Is this something that you really want to do? This is something you really want to do. I'm going to give you, oh, wait a minute. Okay, so we have bonus number 3, and I forgot about that. This is about toxic load in food. This is a $999 value, and I have used this quite a few times with many, many people. I talk about toxic load all the time. The food in our country and the chemicals and the poisons, this can actually lock you out of your own mind. And if you don't understand this part of the process, and even if you have a disease issue going on and you're working super hard on your food, Say you've got an autoimmune thing going on and you're working super hard on getting that under control, but you're still having problem with the food, we can do these balances on the food, on those things by himself, because that's been a big lie in our society, right? You've been lied to, you've been told the food is safe, you've been told it's okay to eat this and eat that and whatever, and it's not okay, it's poisonous. How is that locked into your neuroplasticity? So this is another bonus that I'm throwing in, just because part of it to me is super fun. So I actually teach you to feel the value of energetically of the food. So I've walked people through grocery stores before where we're just playing with food. I've done talks before, and I bring food in, and we sit there and get to actually hold the food and play with the food, interject with the food on an energetic way, and just feel it so you know what's good in your system and what's not. It's very interesting. So this is bonus number 3. So here's what you're going to get. The muscle testing, the brain, writing the strong, clear statements, the balance procedure. I can't tell you how this is going to change your life. And I have that valued at $3,500. And it is worth way more than that. Even for all the stuff I've gone through, I can't even tell you. The water and oxygen, so it's a functional foundation area. The clearing and visualization with the waterfall, you're going to love that. And then the toxic load and food area, it's just a whole nother thing. And that's for I think I have on there the first 10 people who get in on this deal. I'm going to throw that in there automatically. So you can get started today for just $549. $549 starts you today for the 8-week course. You just probably have to grab that link. I don't know that it's clickable on a webinar. And you can go here to sign up. And it's going to take you through all those different areas. I'm going to be with you on phone calls every week, twice. And I believe what I've set aside is Tuesdays and Thursdays to answer questions, help you do balances, give you different ideas. Okay, so $549 starts you today on a path that I guarantee will blow your mind. So click that button, grab that link. And this isn't going to be up forever. The price will go back up to $1,500. Right now, while I'm doing this webinar, I want to put it at a value where you can get in very easily. Let's go through it one more time. What you're going to get is Muscle Testing 101, a $500 value. The brain, the epigenetics, the neuroscience, a good understanding so you get how your body works, the physiology of it, a $500 value. Writing strong, clear statements is a $150 value. The balance procedure itself is priceless. I just don't even know what to tell you. It's priceless. Once you know how to do this, it changes everything. Bonus number 1 is the functional foundation area. That's the water and oxygen. Vital water and oxygen, I think, is what I call them in the strategy itself. But there's other things listed under there also. Bonus number 2 is the waterfall, clearing, visualization. You will love that. Bonus number 3 is about toxic load, and it's about food and the poison in the grocery store. So that brings the total value up to $5,807. That's a funny number. So now you have 2 choices. Your first option is to do nothing and not take the leap of faith. And I know this is a leap of faith for a lot of people. You have to put out your hard-earned money, and money is an interesting thing because it just kind of recycles, doesn't it? Every week, every 2 weeks, regardless of what you spent, you get more. Isn't that funny? It just kind of comes back to you. No matter what you do with it, it comes back. Especially if you're working a job, right? That's kind of the kicker. But it comes back to you. So this is a leap of faith, and I get that. You have to invest in this leap of faith. But if you do nothing, there's no risk. It's 100% risk-free for you. Your second option is to make a decision to do something radical. And compared to the value you'll get in return, I really hope you just give it a shot. Because I just really think you'll be blown away. And wouldn't it be awesome? Wouldn't it be awesome to just walk away with such a different perspective on how you can use your body, how you can do things differently, how you can work at it on a daily basis, and it doesn't have to be such a hard thing to do? If it works for you, great. If not, just ask for your money back. As long as you go all the way through the course, you do all 8 weeks, and you can show me that you've actually worked and it did not do anything for you, I will definitely give you your money back. So that's not really a good guarantee. 15-day. I didn't see that in there. So no, I'm going to give you your money back. And it's not well, since this is on here, I'll do the 15-day guarantee, but you have to show me in that 15 days that you've actually gone after and done the work that is in the first 15 days of the course. How's that? If you can show me that you've done the work and nothing has changed for you, I'll give you your money back. So the real question is it worth gambling a few minutes of your time to check this out? Which is that if it does even half of what I've claimed, it'll pay for itself in your life 100-fold. That's pretty cool, isn't it? Can you imagine getting that much out of something? And I'm putting everything into this that I can possibly put into it that I know that will benefit on every level, from your energy to your physical body, to your mind, to your spirit. God set our bodies up a certain way. God made our bodies to be able to rejuvenate and heal. He made them that way. We were just never taught to use it. So here's a few commonly asked questions. Will this work on anything? So, and I just have to say as a kind of a disclaimer kind of thing, barring mental health problems, if it's a subconscious mind or a stuck energy problem, it will surely help. How long does it take to work? The program itself is 8 weeks long. So one balance typically takes up to 5 minutes. Once we are through the functional foundation stuff and into the arena of balancing, it takes however long you're willing to put the time in. How many balances a day can you do that you want to do? And we'll structure that too so that you're working through an arena, and we'll structure it in such a way that you see how to come back to it and how to feel what's happening next. Because honestly, with a good balance, if you pull the linchpin on something, it's stepping out into the next day and seeing what's different. You get to walk out into your life and visually and aesthetically and kinesthetically notice the differences. It's crazy cool to be able to do this. I get asked a lot, do I still do private practice? I do. If you want to do one-on-one, the price is very different because you will have my undivided attention. But we can get on a call and discuss if that's right for you and if it's right for me, if we're a good match, basically. And if you're interested in private sessions, you can contact me at Christy@mindrewire.com. That is my email. And honestly, if you have any other questions, if you're just like kind of on the fence and you're like, ooh, this is a little bit scary, for $549, I tried to take some of the fear out of it. Okay, but if you're still on the fence and you're like, I don't know if this is right for me or not, go ahead and shoot me an email. Let me give you a call and we'll see what we can talk about. So again, that's my email, Christy@mindrewire.com. So let me just tell you, other programs can make you feel better. They surely can. There's a ton of them out there, and yes, they do. What this gets you is total change and a strategy to keep coming back to. Can you imagine having a set thing in place that you can come to anytime something goes awry? That you can come back to, do a quick balance, get it back under control, and then move forward. So there's the link right there to get started now. Go ahead and grab that link. Open up a new box if you want to. Go ahead and check that out. Let me tell you about these two. This is a tale of two people. And of course that's me, because that's me. That's my heaviest. And this is me a couple years ago doing dips in a gym with my trainer. He actually stuck that rubber cord, whatever that is, around my shoulders, and I had 50 pounds on my back, so that's a 45-pound plate and I think a 5-pound weight. And I was doing full dips. I think I did 8 of them. How crazy is that? Isn't that cool? Isn't that awesome? And all from taking authority over my life. Taking authority over my body, over my mind. Let me show you how to do this. Let me show you. And let me show you what to do next. If you grab this link, once you've got it, it will take you to this page. And on this page, you're just going to fill in the information. Once you go to step 2, it'll give you a place to put in your billing information. It will give you the option of doing billed in one payment or doing it in 2 payments, whatever you're more comfortable with. So I know some people can't put that much on a credit card or on their debit card. So however you want to do it, the price is the same either way. Okay, so that's how you go through the process. And then once you get through all that, you'll get an email with a link to the course itself. The course itself comes in on a daily basis, so there'll be new sections added. I want you to get through the sections one at a time. That's why they're not just all loaded in there, because people will go crazy and just start clicking on everything. I don't want you to do that. I want you to start with Module 1. It's specifically made and intentionally made the way it is for a purpose. And if you go through it in the order that it is in, you will find great benefit, I promise you. So I want you to know I'm nothing special. I work on this every day. I do. I work on this every day. I do my balances. I'm always checking myself, checking my energy, seeing where I'm at. And every day since I've started, I've just gotten better and better and better. I lost the weight. I've gotten rid of disease titles. I've gotten rid of doctors. If it wasn't mandated that we have insurance, I probably wouldn't even have any. Because I just think there is a better way to do this. Our medical system is awesome in times of emergency and in times of great trauma. But I don't think on a daily basis it's a place that we need to be standing. So one more time, what you're going to get: Muscle Testing 101, the brain, writing strong, clear statements, the balance procedure, the bonus number 1 of oxygen and water, that's the functional foundation section, the bonus number 2, the waterfall and clearing, the bonus number 3 on toxic load and food, and that's a value of $5,870. And to the first people to respond yes, let's raise your oxytocin. Think about how awesome it will be to have this program, have it working in your favor, actually have a protocol, have a system, have a strategy, have an understanding of what you can do on a daily basis to keep moving yourself forward. And even if you feel like you're coming from a place of digging yourself out of a rut, let's dig. I'm in. I've dug. I'll dig with you. Let's do it. Feel inside of your body right now. I want you to reach through your system and just feel how cool it would be to know you had support like this and you had a program like this behind you. Can you imagine what it will be like on a day when you have total authority and you're doing what you want to do in your life? How does that feel? That's a response of oxytocin, which is a neurotransmitter or a chemical in your body. Some call it the love hormone. Right? Can you feel that raising up in your system? Go ahead and get started now for just $5.49. Click that button. Get yourself signed up. If you want to, go ahead and shoot me an email. I'll answer any and all questions. I do look at all my emails. Sometimes it takes me a few minutes to get to them, but I do open them all. So don't hesitate. That email again is Christy@mindrewire.com. That's CHRISTY @mindrewire.com. So here we go. This is the end of my presentation. I hope you found it beneficial. I hope you go ahead and sign up. I really do. I want you to sign up and get on this path with me. It's pretty amazing when you're the person standing at the top of the mountain. It's pretty cool. And I don't know that I'm at the top of the mountain yet. I still feel like sometimes I'm scrapping my way and digging and clawing to get up the side. But the cool part is I've got a lot of people walking next to me. And that's where it gets super fun. So I hope this was a benefit and a blessing. I really do. I hope you go ahead and grab that link, get on there. And we will be, if you jump in, we'll be talking to you soon. I'll get you the information about how to get into the program, how to get into the membership area. And then also I will give you information on the days and times for those live calls.